Hello, it's Pedz, and here is my final verdict, aka a shitty review by a shitty person.
What the fuck? It's like, oh, he's a free agent. And then next thing's like, I hope he gets fucking stabbed. Just to scare him right in the kidney. Today I'm going to be giving some of my thoughts on a title that I recently finished. The game, as you can tell by the title of the video, is Night in the Woods. This is a game that I've had for a while and just not got around to playing. I decided to play something a little different to what I had been playing when I started this and heard that this generally is a good game. But other than that, I knew very little about the game. Well, pretty much nothing. You start the game at a bus station. You are May Borowski. I think that's the pronunciation. A young woman who has just left college. You are on your own except for a janitor. This start is an indication of how the game will play. You can walk around the station and look at things on the walls when a symbol appears near it, and talk to the janitor, and soon after leave the station. You've already got an idea as to what the game will be like from the station, with talking to people and interacting with things means you can learn things about the area, or discover things that can help you later on. Little things like that. The big part of the gameplay is seen heading home. You walk through some woods and you can again interact with things, but you also have various platform elements. And May, like Mario, has a triple jump. Platforming comes into its own after you get home and it's the next day. Basically, you can go around the town of Possum Springs and you can jump up tree branches and so on to reach electrical wires and the roofs of buildings. Getting about on the roofs is generally quicker, but it's not just that. Climbing up tree branches or windows to get the roofs means you can meet people up on the roof, or along the way, and a big part of this game is talking to people, see what their lives are like, getting to know or reconnect with people that May previously knew in this town. This is where the best part of the game is, it's where it shines. The conversations with people in the game are brilliant and get to know people is wonderful. And you learn very interesting things about the town and people through conversations that are had. There's a wide cast of characters here for you to talk to and they all feel unique and interesting. It is a main cast of characters that you will speak to. First off is May's mother and father. Every morning I would speak to May's mother before heading out of the house, and in the evening, when returning home, May's father would be on the sofa watching TV, and you have a little chat and watch some with him. Again, this leads to learning more about May's past and the Borowski's lives now. I hope I'm saying that name right, Borowski. I think Borowski. We shall see, but I'm told that I'm wrong in the comments. You then have Beatrice Santello, aka B. B and May seemingly have history of being best friends, but they stop talking. When May comes back from college, they reconnect, but they have a lot of ups and downs along the way. You can clearly see they care for each other, but May is putting her foot in her mouth. Next up, we have Angus Delaney. Angus is a person you know, but know very little about. He was one of the kids in school that was just a little off and seemingly a loner. Getting to know Angus is relatively slow. Don't talk about what you did together in the past as you didn't do anything. But it's very rewarding to get to know about him and to getting to know about his past. Gregory Lee is another of May's old friends. Greg is kind of a wild guy. He's not wild as in he goes around punching random people, getting pissed and that kind of thing. He's just a fun-loving guy who seems to want to have a lot of fun. But it seems he livens up a little more when May returns. Greg is one of the best characters in the game, but then, saying that, they are all pretty great and have some really interesting backstories. It's quite saddening with some. Greg is also the band leader. Oh yes, did I mention the band? Greg, B, Angus and May are all in a band. May plays bass. The last main person I'm going to mention is Germ. Germ is different to those mentioned before. No one really knows much about him, but he seems okay and you can do things with him on occasion. Most of the time, you see him at band practice. He isn't in the band, but he watches as you play. When you see him on the street, he is sometimes talking to other people you never see again. I thought I'd talk about the music as I tend to do with these videos, and I can't say anything other than it being fantastic. When playing through it, people watching the stream would regularly comment on how good the music was, and it was happening nearly every time a new track played. It really adds to the game. With music from band practice being rather different to most other places, it just feels like it's completing the world. Oh, let's steal a pretzel. As you spend more time in the town, you come across some odd happenings as well, which leads to a mystery. But the mystery isn't really a whodunit, even though it goes down a more murder mystery route at one point. It isn't about who did this and why. Well, to me anyway. I think it's more about the darker side of town, and how little communities can be affected by people moving on. How some people will go to any lengths to protect the things that matter to them, no matter the cost, and no matter who it may hurt. And while that's the case for the town, it's also the same for people. Things change and it's not always for the best. This game really is all about stories. The stories of how the town came to be. The stories about how the town is in the place it's in. The stories of people and their lives. Stories of friends. Stories of families. Stories of grief. Mental health. Abuse. About being an adult. There's even stories with the stars. There's so much to this game that will make you think about what it's like to be an adult, about responsibilities, and what really matters. It's both funny and silly, and yet can be heartbreaking at times. This is one game that if you were on the fence, I would say pull the trigger. It's really a must play. The gameplay, story, writing, and music are something that needs to be experienced. And with that, I'm going to give it 9 Pugsleys out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.